Hello my dear friends, welcome back. Welcome to your channel Cooking Astrology. And first of all, I would like to thank all of you for subscribing my channel and liking my video. So thanks a lot. Today in this video, I'm going to discuss with regards to planet Moon in Vedic astrology. Now, many of you might going to be consider like Moon as a very benefic planet, okay? But let me tell you one very important thing with regards to Chandra. Now, Chandra is not that much benefic, okay? This is quite a malefic energy. Although Moon is a very Somya Graha, Somya means there is lot of piousness present inside it. This is a very soft planet, just like a sponge, okay? So if you put that sponge in water, so sponge have the capacity to soak all the water. Similarly, Moon is also that single most planet. If you take this planet Moon and for example you place it in certain house in your horoscope or different areas, Moon have the capacity to actually mold its energy according to the chart energy. Now many people will say one planet is not responsible for everything. Moon is the planet which is actually responsible for everything, because this is not only governing your mind, Moon is also governing the pattern of your life. Now if you look into the Vimshotri Mahadasha or the cycles actually, like which dasha you will going to face in your life, maybe Jupiter, then you will go to Saturn and then Mercury, or maybe what set of dasha that you are going to face. So that dasha is also ruled by planet Chandra. In whichever zodiac sign Moon is posited, you need to pay attention towards the nakshatra and then towards the pada. That is actually going to decide, like Moon is the deciding factor. Like what is the pattern of this person? Whether the initial half of the life this person is going to suffer a lot and I'm going to bring the success in the later stages of the life, or whether initially I'm going to give professional and career success to this person and then later on I'm going to create some imbalance in their mid-40s and then I'm going to give once again a fresh start. So the pattern of your life is actually decided by this Chandra Graha. This is the importance of planet Moon. Now many of you might going to consider Moon as a very positive energy. See, Jupiter is a positive energy, that is a benefic graha, okay? Moon is not a highly benefic planet. I told you it depends upon the condition and dignity of planet Moon in your horoscope that have the capacity to decide whether the Moon is a benefic graha or this is a malefic planet. Because if you try to study the planet Moon in the Kundli actually, and I'm just taking the reference of a Kal Purusha Kundli, okay? So in the natural Kal Purusha Kundli, even if you look, Taurus is the exaltation. Okay, Moon is exalted in the zodiac sign of Taurus. Now what is actually Taurus? Taurus is a Venusian energy. That is actually the energy that represents the valuable possessions, wealth. Or in very mundane terms, Taurus represents the financial security, or any sort of security is ruled by the sign of Taurus. Taurus is originally the second house, so that represents your eating habits also, the kind of food or the quality of food that you are going to eat. Taurus also represents the quality of your life, like whether you are going to have a good quality or bad quality, or what kind of a quality of life that you are going to live. Quality in everything, quality of your friends, quality of your family. So quality is also ruled by this, the sign of Taurus. Now if you look, the Moon is particularly exalted in the sign of Taurus. So Moon is not a spiritual planet. Moon is not seeking Moon is not looking for the spirituality, I want to become adhyatmic and that kind of a thing. No, Moon actually want to become that kind of a planet that have all the valuable possessions. And that is why Moon is actually becoming the number one enemy of planet Ketu. If you try to study the person with Moon and Ketu conjunction, or if the Ketu is going to have certain influence over planet Moon, or if for example out of Moon and Ketu both of the planets are predominantly posited in your horoscopes, so your one portion of the mind is actually going to take you towards the side of materialism, acquiring money, wealth and these kind of things. or at least creating some sort of a security in your life. Now, on the other hand, if you look at planet Ketu, that is a planet of detachment. Ketu is the representation of your capacity to give something away, or your energy to let go of something. Now, Moon is totally opposite energy. That is why Moon is debilitated in the zodiac sign of Scorpio, and the Scorpio is actually co-ruled by the sign of Scorpio, Ketu. There are two controllers for the sign of Scorpio. One is planet Mars, and second one is co-ruled by Scorpio, that is Ketu. Now, if Ketu is also ruling the sign of Scorpio, it means Moon don't like this planet Ketu, and that is where there is going to be a lot of conflicting situations, not only happening between the Rahu and Ketu axis. Many people might going to be considered like the tug of war which is happening inside me between the materialism and the sign of spirituality is coming because of Rahu and Ketu axis. No, it's not necessary. If you go into the higher divisional charts, you will see Rahu and Ketu posited in the same house, same zodiac sign. So in the upper kundlis or in the upper divisional charts, Rahu and Ketu are single planet. This is not a double. This is not a dual nature graha, okay? This is a one single planet. Rahu and Ketu is a single energy, okay? Okay, I understand the house might going to be different. Rahu is in the first, Ketu is in the seventh. So their energy is separated by that the difference of the house. But if you go by the concept of house to house connectivity, like every one house of the chart or kundli is connected with some other house, and you will find that concept of connectivity everywhere in your chart. Now, if you go by that house to house connectivity, you will not find any difference actually. And Rahu and Ketu are actually acting in the similar manner. If, for example, Ketu tend to go into the path of spirituality, Rahu also going to feel that thing. Okay, let me actually take that person into the path of spirituality. But if, for example, Rahu and Ketu axis are operating in one side, so what other planet is actually bringing you one step closer towards materialism? That is not only Venus also, because Venus is only the planet of luxury actually. Venus have nothing to do with whether I want to become a rich person or whether I'm going to show something off in front of other people. Venus is not that planet. That is the reason Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces. Pisces is ruled by Brihaspati, Jupiter, okay? So Jupiter energy, Venus actually find it very comfortable to go in the realm of Pisces, and Pisces is the outer realm, that is the pure spirituality. Shukra is also a graha which is actually responsible for that spirituality. Now the planet, specifically the moon and planet Mercury, these two planets, now many might going to be considering these two planets as a benefic drishti, like they are very positive energies. They are not positive energy. They actually have the capacity to mold according to the chart. Now, if you look even, for example, in certain charts, how to actually judge the condition of moon, apart from the house placement and apart from the zodiac sign placement. Now, many of you, understand like, okay, zodiac sign placement is very important because that represents the internal quality of a person or the internal characteristics. House placement is also going to be a representation of where your mental inclination is going to be, like what kind of a thoughts you are thinking. Most of the time that thing is going to be represented by planet moon. But apart from the zodiac sign placement and the house placement of moon, try to study whether this planet is in a Kemdrum yoga or not. Kemdrum yoga is only applicable to planet moon. Don't consider any other planet is falling in the trap of Kemdrum. No. Kemdrum is only for your mind actually. This is a special yoga designed by Prasya Rishi for only Chandra Graha, because your mind have the capacity to wander here, there, everywhere. Moon is not a constant energy. Moon is constantly thinking multiple thoughts. So moon energy is very vibrant energy that is running in different direction. Initially, I have given you the example of a sponge also. Now, first of all, if moon is in a Kemdrum yoga, if there is no any physical planet sitting second, 12th house to the moon, it means that mind is all alone. That is totally lonely person, away from the hustle bustle of everything, totally cut off. Even if you keep that person in maybe 50, 100,000 people, okay, still that person have the capacity to experience that complete sense of detachment from everything. Now here I'm using the word detachment here. So it's not necessary moon is detached from the materialistic side. It represents the detachment from the outer world or the outside world. Moon don't want to indulge into the society then. And on the other hand, if for example moon is hemmed between the malefics, like if it is in a Pap Kartari yoga, like if you look 2nd and 12th to the moon, if there are highly malefic planets posited, planets like Saturn, Mars, even Surya, planet Sun also, then your mind have the capacity to actually feel totally stuck, like you are totally jammed in some kind of environment, or you are actually sitting in one closed room. So there is no any escape route coming from anywhere into the life. And that is where moon have the capacity to single-handedly rule your life. Even if you look specifically, initially I told you the Dasha pattern of your life is governed by Chandra. Dasha pattern which is governed by Chandra, that is the reason why moon is actually governing the Dasha pattern of the native. Moon is the planet that have the capacity to actually play with the mind or the emotions of someone. If you originally look into the Kalpurusha Kundli, 4th house is ruled by the sign of Cancer. Now there are 4 watery zodiac signs: the sign of Cancer, the sign of Scorpio, and the sign of Pisces. Now there is only one zodiac sign, a watery zodiac sign, that is actually coming in the quadrant. If you look into the Lagna, the sign of Aries there, then the sign of Libra and the sign of Capricorn. Now the combination of all the 4 elements have the capacity to create the quadrant of a person. That is the foundation of your life. Now moon, if it is controlling the 4th house by the sign of Cancer, it means the basic foundation of your life is actually governed by Chandra. 4th house represents the roots of a native, that represents your mother, even motherland also. Now whether your moon, it doesn't matter whether it's exalted, it's debilitated in your horoscope, that is a secondary question. If you want to look into your life, whether you have the capacity to enjoy any sense of pleasures, specifically from the family side, because 4th house represents the family environment. Or if you want to look whether I have the capacity to gain something from my mother side, or maybe mother is going to have that sort of emotional connection with me or not, that is also represented by Chandra. Now most of the time you will find this planet in the most malefic states. It doesn't matter whether the moon is exalted and if it is posited in the 8th house. Exalted moon have nothing to do with the Karak Avastha. Karak Avastha simply mean it doesn't matter whether the moon is exalted or if it is debilitated in the horoscope. If for example there are certain set of sufferings that are present in your life, okay, maybe from 4th house, I'm taking the example of sign of Cancer. Maybe from 4th house, if there are certain set of karma that is connected with the 4th house, so that karma must need to be fulfilled in this present life. And the time when that karma is actually getting fulfilled is decided by Chandra. Moon is the deciding entity for most of other planets also, and that is why moon is not the enemy of any planet. Other planets might going to be considering moon as an enemy, like you are my greatest enemy, but moon is that kind of a diplomatic planet, or this is that kind of a diplomatic businessman. The reason why I'm using the word businessman here, because moon is a very emotional kind of a businessman, just like Mercury. Mercury is a very clever person. Mercury is a very diplomatic businessman. But when it comes to moon, moon is also one sort of a businessman. Moon also have the capacity to create that weighing scale and to weight everything. That is why this is exalted in Taurus. You might need to be thinking like Taurus is the sign of beauty and these things I understand. But moon is not actually looking for beauty. Beauty is going to be present inside Venus also. Moon in the sign of Taurus is actually looking for comfort, financial security. And that is where this is giving affliction to the sign of Scorpio as well. In whichever house your moon is posited, just put it in the Lagna. I am talking about moon chart here. You just need to plot the moon ascendant, okay? There is one Lagan Kundli, then there is some moon chart. I have made one separate video of moon chart. If you want to understand its significance, I will link that in the description section below, or maybe by the end of this video I will post it. Now if you specifically plot your moon lagna or moon chart, now in whichever zodiac sign moon is posited, so moon is actually going to be coming in the lagna. For example, your moon is posited in the sign of Aquarius, so it means you are becoming Aquarius ascendant. If moon is posited in the sign of maybe Virgo, then if you put moon in the lagna, then you are actually going to be becoming that Virgo ascendant, okay? Now if moon is coming in the lagna, now you need to check the depositor. Depositor mean in which zodiac sign moon is posited. If moon is posited in Virgo, that is ruled by Mercury. If moon is posited in the sign of Aquarius, that is ruled by Saturn. So you need to check, like if it is moon is going in the other house, maybe in the zodiac sign of Virgo, in the sign of Aquarius, or maybe in other zodiac sign, try to look that planet, where that planet is going actually. And that is going to be the number one planet that have the capacity to start the decoding of karmas into your life. If for example, moon is posited in the zodiac sign of Libra, and Libra is ruled by Venus, and the very natural significance of Venus is actually marriage. So it means the event of marriage have the capacity to not only unfold the karma of planet Venus, that is the representation of a wife or marriage, that is also going to unfold the mother related karmas into your life. That is actually planet moon. Similarly, if moon is posited in the zodiac sign, or suppose, let me go by the house placement example. Suppose moon is posited in your 5th house in your horoscope. Now 5th house is actually the house of children, okay? Now for example, as soon as your first child is born, here moon is not going to unfold the karma only related to 5th house. You need to pay attention towards the zodiac sign placement of moon. For example, moon is posited in the sign of Leo in your horoscope, and Leo is ruled by Surya. Planet Sun is the representation of a father and government. In very mundane terms I'm talking about. Now as soon as the childbirth is happening in the family, you are having moon in the 5th house, or your 5th house is activated. Now moon is posited in the sign of Leo. It means wherever the Surya is going into your horoscope, that house is also getting activated by one single event. And that is where the pattern of your life, as I have given you initially, like your dasha pattern is ruled by Chandra. Chandra have the capacity to decide whether initially you are going to have this thing. Moon also have the capacity to decide the timings of everything. Timings of marriage is decided by moon, timings of your retirement, timings of your children, timings of everything. Even timings of buying a property, every timing in Vedic astrology is decided by moon. Although other planets also going to play a very important role here, along with Dasha and Vimshotri Mahadasha. But who is setting the Dasha and Vimshotri Dasha? That is Chandra. Chandra is actually deciding. Now, most of the charts, I will tell you, there are more than 180, 190 set of different Dashas that are actually in Vedic astrology. I don't want to confuse you by taking into different dashas, like there are some Uddu dashas, there are some dasha of specifically zodiac sign dasha also rules sometime. At the same time, there are going to be some Dvisaptiti dashas. There are going to be some other form of dashas that are also applicable in Vedic astrology. But the most used dasha is actually Vimshotri Mahadasha. And Vimshotri Mahadasha is, if you count all the planets, that is going to be for 120 years. And out of that 120 years, moon is going to rule approximately 10 years of your life. Or the moon Mahadasha is going to be for specifically 10 years. Now, many people are fortunate enough to see the moon Mahadasha. Many people, they fail to understand like Dasha system. So, sometime moon Dasha might not going to be coming. If, for example, your first Dasha is of Mars, then after Mars comes Rahu, Jupiter, Saturn, then Mercury, then it means you will not be able to see the moon Mahadasha. So that also depend upon. So the pattern of the life is actually decided by moon. And this is also the planet that I told you is responsible for the business entities actually. Many people nowadays are actually looking for financial security. If they are not finding financial security by doing one thing, so they start doing other things. Maybe exploring the talent which is present inside them of share market, stock market, speculation, earning money through playing different games, or maybe real estate or some other different multiple options of incomes that they are actually looking for. So which is the planet that is actually guiding them to look into that thing? That is Chandra. Moon is the planet that have the capacity to keep on building security after security after security after security. And that is the layering thing. Like Moon have the capacity to create one layer, then second layer, then third, then fourth. I will tell you, if Moon is very well positioned in your horoscope, by mean to say very well positioned, I'm not only talking about exalted Moon or Moon positioned in the sign of Cancer. Even if Moon is positioned in any other zodiac sign, for example, Moon is positioned in the sign of maybe Aries, okay? Aries is ruled by planet Mars. Now, if Mars is, for example, exalted in the Kundli, in the sign of Capricorn, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is positioned in the sign of Aquarius. So you see the connecting link happening now. This Moon is very powerful. Similarly, if Moon is positioned maybe in the zodiac sign of Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is positioned in the sign of Virgo in exaltation, that Moon is also very powerful. So you also need to check the depositor, where that planet is going. If the strength and dignity of that planet is very strong, it means the foundation of Moon is very powerful. And that is why you will say that a layering capacity of the Moon. Moon is going to create different multiple layers. Moon is also the planet that have the capacity to decide the profession of a native. Apart from Rahu, Ketu, Saturn, Dashmansh Kundli, the condition of your 10th house, I understand all these factors are very important, but you must need to take Moon into consideration before deciding your career. If, for example, you decide some technical career option by just looking into maybe Mercury or Saturn, and you have taken the aspect of Dasha into consideration, okay, the person is running through Saturn Mahadasha, and so we can suggest some technical career option for this person. Now, okay, you have chosen that career option, but if, for example, your Moon, that is your mind, is actually losing interest within next 1 or 2 years by doing that same thing, it means that is not going to be considered as a good career option. So we need to take your mind into consideration before deciding the career as well. Similarly, all the other factors I will tell you, or your life is incomplete without this single planet. That is why there is day before night and night before day is happening continuously. It's not possible to have one thing only without the presence of other thing. If there is some darkness, then there might going to be some light phase. If there is richness, there might going to be some sort of poverty. So these are the two flips of that coin. Now Moon is that flip. It totally depends upon its dignity, house placement, the kind of yogas which are formed by Moon, any sort of malefic negative associations that have the capacity to actually drive your life. So this is just like a driver. Mahadasha Lord is also the driver that have the capacity to drive your car, okay? But who is going to decide who is going to become the Mahadasha Lord driver? That is actually Chandra. So this is one of the most important planet that have the capacity to take your life into the forward direction. Now, in order to improve this graha, first of all, be strict with the diet schedule. The kind of food that you are going to eat is going to have direct impact over your mental emotions. So if you will be able to have that strong sense of discipline inside you to control the urges towards eating something delicious, this is the way you have the capacity to strengthen your mind. Discipline created in one area of your life has the capacity to create discipline into other area. Secondly, try to live in the beautiful environment or try to create beauty around you. Moon don't like any sort of messy things actually. Moon is the planet that is the representation of water, and water is utilized for not only cleaning purposes, not only drinking purposes. Water is used for everything. So Drinking more and more water is also a remedy for moon. Living and staying near some source of water is also a remedy for planet moon. Even taking long showers early in the morning is also a remedy of planet moon. Apart from this, chanting Om Namah Shivaya, simply Om Namah Shivaya. Because moon and Mars, these two entities are governed by Lord Shiva. So if you are going to worship Lord Shiva in the Rudra form, or maybe in the form of Shivling by pouring milk, curd, honey mixture over the Shivling, that also have the capacity to actually nullify the negative impacts created by moon. Moon is going to give lot of depression, mental and anxiety, mental sufferings, traumas. So these things are actually governed by moon. So more malefic the moon is going to be, the more mental pain you are going to face. This is the single most planet that have the capacity to take happiness away from your life, because this is ruling the 4th house. So, and that is why Jupiter is exalted in the sign of Cancer. Because if the human being, or if the person is devoid from the emotions of love, happiness, joy, satisfaction, that is where Jupiter comes into exaltation. And then Jupiter is going to become the number one supporter. Okay, if that person is not having any sense of pleasures coming from these areas and there are a lot of suffering, so let me make this person a very spiritual planet. But moon is not a spiritual planet. Moon don't want to take the path of spirituality. Moon want to enjoy the comforts, pleasures, financial security, even fame also. So moon is that energy. If for example you are devoid from these things, so Jupiter have the capacity to then becoming the saving factor. That is why Jupiter is actually exalted. Jupiter is the number one supporter graha of everything. If you look now, there is Gaj Kesari Yoga. Now that is also formed between Jupiter and moon. It means moon have the capacity to take support from Jupiter, or Jupiter is the foundation that have the capacity to support your life. That is why directly opposite, Jupiter is a kark of optimism, hope. Hope is a very big bird. Okay, Jupiter is the planet that represents expansion, positivity, growth, wisdom, knowledge. So that is why Jupiter is getting exalted. Because if the moon is highly afflicted, you will find the people, they are having a very strong Jupiter in their kundali actually. Because that universe is going to give you some sort of a saving factor into your life. Also, you can strengthen the planet moon by doing some hiking activities, physical movement. If you are going to activate the energy of Lagna, because Lagna is very important. If you look, moon chart comes secondary, first come the Lagan Kundli. So Lagna is the physical movement, physical body. So if you have the capacity to keep your physical body very healthy, it means you have the capacity to keep your moon very healthy, that is your mind. Apart from this, doing fasting is very helpful. Maybe fasting on some weekends. Today is actually Durga Ashtami. I'm filming this video, and maybe you can fast for complete 8 to 9 days during this time frame. So fasting is also very, very important technique in order to actually strengthen planet moon in your life. Apart from this, one more thing, moon don't want to become a very rigorous planet actually. That is why moon hates Saturn. Moon don't like Saturn. That is why Sade Sati or the phase of 7.5 years of planet Saturn comes upon this planet moon, because Saturn want your moon to become a disciplined person. Moon is not a planet that actually love discipline. Moon don't want discipline. Moon is your mind, and mind want to rumble everywhere. Your mind want to go to some beach near some seashore, enjoy some vacation or enjoy your life. Your moon mind don't want to work. Saturn is that planet. That is why when it comes in Sade Sati, this comes to your mind actually. If your moon is posited in one, maybe the sign of Capricorn, for example. So Sade Sati will start when the previous Saturn just entered the sign of Sagittarius. Sade Sati will not immediately come. First of all, Saturn is going to create that mental thing in your life, like you need to become mentally disciplined, then physically disciplined. In this way, Saturn Sade Sati is going to progress into your life. And that is the reason Saturn Sade Sati only comes on this moon. because this is one of the most mischievous planet. Moon, this is an uncontrollable energy. I will tell you, moon also represents addictions, karka of addictions. Alcohol addiction, smoking, drug addiction, even any sort of sexual addictions in the kundli is also seen through planet moon, because moon have the capacity to give that addictions. Now Saturn comes over moon, Saturn want moon to become very disciplined, and that is why people are very fearful of this planet Saturn, like, oh my goodness, my Sade Sati is coming or my Dhaya is coming. It means Saturn want your mind to become very disciplined. So that is the concept or theory of planet moon. I hope you have gained some insights in this video with me. If you are having any queries, any consultations with regards to your moon placement or any other thing, you can feel free to contact me at my email ID. I will try my best to respond you back as soon as possible, and thank you so much for providing me this platform. You can please subscribe my channel below if you find some insights regarding Chandra Graha, and please don't forget to follow me on Instagram as well. And I'm going to meet you very, very soon in the next video. Till then, bye bye and take care.